Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another OSR tabletop live stream with myself, GM Bloodworth. In this case, it would actually be Castle Keeper Bloodworth, and this is going to be a Greyhawk campaign session 3 recap. I'm going to be talking about our new campaign that we started just 3 weeks ago, and it launched with 8 players. 8 players slated to begin their urban setting Greyhawk City adventures. They are we are primarily using Castles and Crusades as our core system, even though we've brought quite a bit of other components from other game systems into it as well. I've spoken quite a bit about this previously, but for the live stream, I will talk about it once again. So as I stated, Castles and Crusades is the core system for this campaign. The campaign is mostly focused on it being the city of Greyhawk, and so I wanted to make this campaign primarily a location-based campaign. I want the players to get fully immersed in the city itself and to learn about the city from their very insulated, almost myopic understanding of the city from just their neighborhood as young adventurers, and then it will expand beyond there. And so the first session, only 5 of the 8 players were available. The other 3 hadn't signed on yet, and those 5 players were introduced to just the overall tone of the initial stages of their adventuring. They had joined or they had been inducted into the Greyhawk Adventurers Guild, which is a replacement of the former Mercenaries Guild. Now that the city of Greyhawk and the Greyhawk Wars have ended almost 2 years in the past, they were now, the city itself was now looking to move forward and go into that. Hey, Ducato, how's it going? I'm going to shift it over here so people can see the comments. So great to have you in here, and I will in a few minutes, welcome people to come on in and chat as well. Particularly since you run Castles and Crusades, I definitely want to bring you in here. So anyway, so the campaign started off with the assassination of the Lord Mayor, and the player characters learned, pretty quickly that they're not going to get directly involved with that. Hey Bear, how's it going? It's a little bit out of their league right now, and I'm glad that they picked up on those cues, because the thief in the group, who's going to play a prominent role in this particular session 3, for the wrong reasons, unfortunately, but he picked up on the fact that a more experienced thief, a member of his guild in the tavern, told him not to ask questions about what was going on, because the Lord Mayor happened to be a prominent Thieves Guild member himself, possibly even second in command, second only to the guild master, and so his assassination was either conducted by the Assassins Guild, who is also a not so prominent but certainly notorious guild within the city as well. So it was either conducted by the Assassins Guild, sanctioned by the Assassins Guild, or potentially just unknown by the Assassins Guild, which still makes them somewhat culpable in the view of some individuals out there. And so there was this fear that the Thieves Guild and the Assassins Guild were going to start openly combating one another, which is, still open, open to, actions going forward. So the player characters don't know what the full import of that assassination is going to be, other than that there's going to be quite a bit of turmoil caused by it, because the city of Greyhawk is ruled by an oligarchy, and the guilds play a major role. The guilds and temples and various other entities within the city play a major role in occupying the seats of that oligarchy. And so when one is removed, especially the Lord Mayor, then there's going to be a lot of political intrigue going on. It's a component that I want to include in this campaign. Remember, it is a location-based campaign, more so than a game system-based campaign. So setting that up, like I said, Castles and Crusades is the core system. I have adopted encumbrance system from Shadow Dark. I've adopted reaction roles from OSE. I've taken quite a bit from a lot of the flavor, also from like spells and whatnot from Adventures Dark and Deep, and Joseph Bloch's writings on the city of Greyhawk. And he has a whole thing on he has a book, The Player's Guide to Greyhawk, which I've made available to my players to review the sections that apply to them, especially like the spells and everything. So they'll be available to them. And then there's some other some home brewing that I did as well. So again, like I would say 80% of the game system is Castles and Crusades, and the other 20% is these insertions of other game systems. So we go through session 1, and then session 2 brings on the full party now. So all 8 player characters, and they're investigating a bank heist. And they equip themselves. They get their passage to there. And yes, it's very, very good stuff. I'm using it in my CC&D campaign. Yeah, I mean, it really is great stuff from that game system. So they head out to investigate this bank heist, and the bank heist is very unique to them. They're looking through the vault, and they see that it was just one vault that was stolen from, or at least they're assuming that it was stolen from. And they find a section of the wall and floor that is no longer the same texture as the rest of the vault. And they only find it was a silver vault. So everything that was in there were silver coins and ingots. Thousands and thousands of pounds worth, or maybe even 10,000 or more ingots and whatnot, just gone overnight. And so all they had was one ingot that was partially corroded, and a couple coins that were also somewhat corroded or distorted or what, and then this very strange pattern on the floor and lower wall, where they quickly assumed that was how the entry was done, and by some means the wall and floor were reconstituted, but it just doesn't look the same as the rest of the area. And the party is made up of a priest or a cleric, a fighter, a rogue, a paladin in the group, and then there are 4 player characters that are from the Adventurer's Backpack, all right, which is an expansion of the rules of Castles and Crusades. So there is an arcane thief, there is a elf magi, there is a pacer, which is like an urban ranger, and then and then the other one is slipping my mind right now. When I go and show the characters, I'll be able to go over that with you. And so they're investigating this, and the players already kind of have an inkling of what might have gone on, but the player characters didn't. And I'm glad that the players were playing that out. And so they try to go to various places around the city to gain information, because the dwarf failed his his wisdom check, his understanding of both mining and stone, stone structures and such. So he failed those checks. So he really didn't know what could have corroded the the silver ingot, or what could have created that differentiation in the texture of the floor and wall. A detect magic was cast previously, and the magic user did sense the residue of magic around the discolored or disformed floor and wall. So they assumed that some kind of spell was used there. And again, player knowledge kind of comes in. They were like, oh, it's probably like, turn stone to mud, or transform, or alter stone of some kind of spell. So they kind of knew that, the players knew that, but the characters didn't yet. So they travel out and speak to several different individuals. They talk to a sage, and they get some information. They make great rolls, and they're trying to convince the sage to do that. Then they went to a cartographer, the City Cartography Guild, and they wanted to find out what would be beyond that wall and floor if they'd gone deep enough. And they discovered the sewer system, and the cartographer, again, they made suitable questions and pretty decent rolls in negotiating with the cartographer to get that information. And they discovered an entryway not too far away for them to enter into the sewers. They're assuming that is where the break-in started from. And then they went to the there's a sewer workers union in the city as well. And so they went there and they tried to get a more pinned down location of where that entry would be. Unfortunately, they didn't at the time think, well, maybe we should bring one of the workers there to gain access to the sewers. They didn't realize that the entryway would be locked. So when they went to the sewer entrance and they found it locked, now everybody was having some difficulty breaking this up. The thief of the party was running a little late. The player was running a little late, and so he wasn't there in that moment. And so they were struggling to try to break open this door. And then they got the idea, let's go back to the sewer and ask them to either give us the key or unlock it or whatever. And, 1 gold and 1 silver later, they brought the guy along. The guy unlocked the door for them, and then left them, to their own devices. And so now the thief had joined in just slightly after they had already entered into the sewer system. And this was their first combat. They engaged two were-rats. Now, I realized that this was going to be, even though they had 6 player characters, in the room, and they were going to be, really, they're really diverse characters. And I will bring up this screen here so you can see So these are the characters that they had. So they had a pacer, they had a rogue, they had a an elf magi, which is basically like a BX elf, right? So fighter magic user mix. The cleric was not present for this game session. They had a warrior priest. That was the other class I forgot. They have a warrior priest. They have a arcane thief. They have a fighter, and they have a paladin. So they had, seven of the six, starting off, six of the 8-player characters there, and so they started to fight the first two were-rats, and they had surprise to begin with, but they decided to take a defensive position. They give surprise differences in what they can do. They have choices when they earn surprise. It doesn't always have to be we attack before initiative. They have other choices in that. And they chose to take defensive positions. And then in the first round, they basically attack. Now, I do not roll for initiative. What I do is every player character and monster on the battlefield, they have an initiative score, and that's the number you can see here. And they're in initiative order here on the screen. So Erin is a pacer, like an urban ranger, and her overall initiative score is a 7. Ovid, who is the rogue, he also has a 7, mostly due to their dexterity bonuses. Then Simon, the magi, is 6. Then Tristan is a 5. He's a cleric. Then we have 4, 4, 3, and 2. The paladin is actually the slowest of the bunch. It just doesn't have the stats that would support a higher initiative. Now, the were-rats were simultaneous with the elf magi, so they were a 6 as well. So the battle ensues between them. They are starting to learn that their were-rats are a little bit different in Castles and Crusades than they are in Dungeons and Dragons. You can harm a were-rat with non-silver weapons, but silver weapons do double damage. All right, or they're full damage when they hit, whereas all other weapons only do half their damage. And were-rats in Castles and Crusades have a 17 dexterity, or 17 armor class. So it uses ascending armor class, and so they're hard to hit for first level party. But again, I felt that large party, such as it was, and eventually 7-player characters here, but they'd be able to handle it. And they did, for the most part, handle the first 2. But as they were trying to run the were-rats, their morale had broken. The first one finally went down. The second one was already wounded, and he starts to run away, and he goes to the door as well, trying to get out into the next area there, and he gets cut down as well. The players had about 1 round to do something, really just finalizing that particular round, because the 2 were-rats on the other side of that door were alerted to the action. And that's, they got 1 heal off. The warrior priest healed the pacer. She had taken about 6 points of damage or something like that. And so she was already pretty wounded, and he healed her up to maximum with a heal spell. And then the other 2 came in. So battle ensues once again between them. The fighting back and forth. They're slowly beating them down, and then the main event takes place. So of the session. So The main event takes place. I'm going to switch views here. Let's see how I can do this. I don't know if I can do this or not. Let's see if I can replace this with, or bring, oh, I can share screen. And let's see. Yes, I will share screen here and share. So here we go, and you can see the battle here now. Now they've since moved. This was after the battle was over, but you can see that that the rogue Ovid took a critical hit, and he took a critical hit. It took him from, I believe, from seven hit points to minus 3 or minus 4. And so that actually he had 6 hit points, and I believe he went to minus 3. So immediately brought down to minus 3. He does not, he had a constitution bonus of only a +1, which means that he can survive a hit that takes him to minus 1 without dying immediately, but anything beyond that, and he would be dead. Now, at minus 3, he is still able to be raised, but at double that minus, so at minus 4 and beyond, from his minus 1 he's allowed to go to, at minus 4 and beyond, he can only be resurrected. And at double that, so minus 8 and beyond, he cannot even be resurrected. So session 3, our very first player character is lost to the combat. The paladin was brought down to 0 hit points, all right, as well during this combat. And it was like, I'm sitting there and I'm watching this unfold, and I'm like, damn, this might end up being a real big big event here where they have to start thinking about fleeing. But they did take down the final were-rat, and then they were able to heal up, put a bandage on the paladin, which brought him up to 1 hit point. So now he's conscious, and then he was able to do a lay on hands on himself, bringing up to 3 hit points. And then they decided, let's bring out our dead, recover Ovid's body. Let's head back to the Adventurers Guild and try to lick our wounds and really start planning on our next delving into this place. They immediately start thinking about, hey, we have to start getting some silver weapons, so that we can, better be, more effective and whatnot. So it was a great session in that I think that it really did set the tone. I'm going to switch views back over here. I'll come back over here to your comments. Hey, Technobabble, how's it going? I'm going to bring you all in to, if you want to jump in and ask questions or just talk about your own gaming experiences as well. So here is the join. So you can join and come in from backstage. Yeah, it was a great session. I think that the players are really starting to become both immersed into their characters and immersed into the setting. Again, when a player character dies, it's always an interesting thing. I will bring in Bear here. Hey,
hello.
Going. Oh, I can get rid of this other one. So anyway, it was a great session. I think it taught some valuable lessons to everybody about being prepared, and it wasn't like there weren't hints dropped previously in the previous 2 sessions that because they did pick up rumors that where creatures are not are certainly not rare in the sewers or in those sections of the towns and of the city and whatnot. So I mean, they could have been a little bit more prepared for that, but again, it's a good learning experience. How's it going, Bear? Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be seen. I'm good.
Yeah.
How you doing? See, this is your Castles and Crusades game from last night.
Yes, yeah. This is a recap of my Greyhawk campaign. As I mentioned earlier, it's like 80% Castles and Crusades, and then other game systems being brought in for various things that I just prefer better than what Castles and Crusades does, particularly the encumbrance system. I like very, very simple, encumbrance systems. So, basically strength plus constitution bonus is the number of slots you can carry, and, based on the armor class bonus, that determines how many slots your armor takes, so if you have armor that gives you a +2, takes up 2 slots. If it's a +3, takes up 3 and whatnot. Weapons, single-handed, 1 slot, double hand, two-handed, 2 slots. Halberds, lances, those kinds of things, 3 slots.
I get in trouble for saying this, but it's one of the things I absolutely despise about D&D based systems. They are literally the only games I've ever played where people obsess about encumbrance. No sci-fi game I've played has ever obsessed about it. No other fantasy game I've ever played obsesses about it. No horror game obsessed. But D&D, man, and all the clones, encumbrance is like this arguing point for everybody. It's like, why? Why can't we just use rational thought? Why do we have to have an absolute, Byzantine system for it?
Because it's a system based on basically treasure for XP. And so when you have a system where it's based on treasure for XP, you have to deal with carrying capacity. Otherwise they'll be like, hey, we just killed the dragon and we have 20,000 gold pieces. All right, and we're going to stuff our pockets and walk out.
Hang on, let me ask you a question. And this is an important question for D&D. Where are they putting those 20,000 gold? They tend to murder hobo around the world, right?
Yeah.
But they always have their money with them. And whenever you propose some sort of resource system to replace gold, the old guard is like, oh, well, so you start asking them, where's your money? There's no banks. And the banks,
there are banks, but
depends on the setting.
Yes,
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's no bank card or anything like that. So how are you getting access to your money on the fly like that?
Yeah.
Secondly, so they'll be like, well, I'll bury it. And, hey, what are the chances you're ever coming back to that location again? And if you did that, I'm going to have some thieves that have already following you because you're adventurers go, oh, look where they buried the money and go steal it. It's absurd. The resource management mentality of D&D is a holdover from miniatures gaming. And it's why no other game does it, because all the other games just go, screw it. Just use rational common sense. No, you can't carry a bit and tackle with you. That's going to be on a wagon.
All of those things you just mentioned is what I do. You know what I'm saying? So
you just described.
Let me grab that. Let me make sure it's not my job.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Right back.
Meanwhile, everybody else, how are you? How are things this morning? What's happening? Are you all good? Are you all on top of your game? Sorry, I'm editing a document while I'm talking. I do apologize.
Oh, sorry about that. That was probably...
Yes, Hyperborea is probably, I would say, for my money currently, Hyperborea is probably the most... I'm trying to pick the adjective carefully here. I'm going to say grown-up version of D&D, the most mature, and treats the players like adults as opposed to children that have to have a bunch of rules put in front of them because otherwise they're going to run chaotically through the fields naked with their willies hanging out, which is what I find a lot of. Well, it's but when I design games, invariably there'll be something that'll come up. Someone on the Discord will say, well, you should, this could be exploited. And I go, yeah, and? Well, you should write the rules so it can't be exploited. Why should I have to do that? That's the GM's job to police his table. It's not my job as the writer to police their table for them. Now, if it's a game break, that's different. That means I got to look at the rule and fix it, and that's a whole other beast. But if it's an exploit, if your GM's going to allow it, let him. If he's not going to allow it, let him. There's no need for the designer to put those rules in there or to have to do that for them. And that's why I like Hyperborea, or Astonishing Swords and Sorcerers of Hyperborea. Astonishing Swords, was it Astonishing Swords? Anyway, whatever. I have it on the desk.
Astonishing Swordsmen
and
right Sorcerers of Hyperborea.
There we go. Yeah, right there. It's right
there. You have Hyperborea 3rd edition, which is just Hyperborea. I think I read of the Astonishing title. Isn't that the orange ones right there?
Did they get rid of the title? Oh, they did. No, they didn't. They did. Oh my god.
Yes, they did. No. Yes, they replaced the other one with something a lot easier to say.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mouthful, to be honest.
Yes,
but the thing is I respect the treating your players in games like adults, and I think that's an important thing. If you want adult play, your rules have to treat the reader like an adult. And I think far too many people just think if it's not in the rules, I'll do whatever I want. And it's like, okay, well, that's not how things work.
Yeah.
Please fix that, Yeah. But
that's why I built into the whole premise of, the campaign is that, they have to think long game and, hire some damn porters. I mean, that's what they're there for. Eventually you'll have henchmen. Eventually you'll have, eventually your magic items and your treasures will become part of your reputation. And now, hey, a second level fighter can, by just luck's chance, be walking around with a +3 longsword. All right. You don't think that the Thieves Guild is going to be like, hey, here's this fairly inexperienced fighter walking around with a very powerful magic item. And
hey, look at those assholes who just came back from the Temple of Doom and Gloom.
Exactly.
That's conveniently a mile outside of town. And they've come back with all this stuff.
Yeah.
We should steal that shit.
Yes. So it is, I'm not going to be worried too much about them finding magic items. All right. And those magic items are going to enhance their reputation. And I want them to sit there and be like, is this thing more trouble than it's worth? And that's what I want to, imply on them. When they're coming from a dungeon with loads of treasure, let's say, spend it wisely, but certainly spend it. Don't look to, put it under your pillowcase and expect that it might be there, 2 months later when you return. So there's a lot that I'm trying to get the players to be mindful of. And carrying capacity is just something that makes them think beyond that mentality of, oh, well, I should just be able to walk out and walk back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No, that's going to take a lot of time.
Listen, I'm not going to argue with you on it. I mean, obviously, you're a supporter of it. I just think it's a silly thing, and I don't like it. And it's one of the culminating piling ups that make me not interested in OSR games. At the end of the day, is there's just too much. Oh, well, this didn't work, or we're going to add this thing in, or do this, or do that, and it's just like, oh, for God's sake, play a better game. There are much more advanced systems out there that can handle all these things without having to have nanny state guardrail barriers thrown in front of the players at every turn. And there's the rule, the basic rule, which all GMs need to learn. No.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. You have to be willing to say no.
You do.
I do that all the time when, hey, can I play, because, there are some character classes in Castles and Crusades or any of the game systems that are just broken classes.
Yes.
I mean, AD&D first edition, the Unearthed Arcana. I mean, Paladins, Barbarians, broken. Absolutely broken. I have yet to find a player that can play an assassin well, or that an assassin actually plays well in the group for, being a member of the group and doing something that actually assists. I don't like assassins for that reason. I think it's a great solo class, if you want to, but it's a class that really doesn't have a function in heroic fantasy.
Well, I mean, if you're a fan of Conan, let's say, just
Mhm.
for fun, right? Um, thief should not be a class because a thief just means you steal stuff. Assassin should not be a class; just means you kill people for money,
Yeah,
right? Games that have skill systems over class systems, I think, represent the diversity of the fiction much better, much better. Because you can build a character who's really good at sneaking, but also pretty decent at fighting, and maybe knows a little magic if the system allows for it, right?
right.
But that's just me. I'm crazy like
Yeah.
that.
I don't think bards are a PC character class. I think they're an
Hey,
expert.
that's my favorite class.
It's an expert. It's an expert henchman. Come on, they should go out
No.
there and they're telling the tale of, they're telling the tale of the party. They're boosting their morale when needed. They're doing everything, but the first of all, the treadmill that they have to go on to become a bard in AD&D.
The first edition bard makes no sense.
Yeah, that makes no
Absolutely
sense whatsoever.
absurd.
Yeah, and to me, it's just like I've always looked at the bard as being, the perfect bard to me is the one that's in the movie Unforgiven, right? And the guy traveling around, recording the, the exploits.
The penny journal.
Yeah. That to me is a bard. You're basically just, telling the tale. You're penning it. You're embellishing it a little bit. You're encouraging. You're doing that kind of thing. But you're not an adventurer. You're a cowardly person staying on the background and just jotting down the story. It'll be a good enhancer for reputation and that kind of thing. But to me, I've never liked bards. I've never thought that they were, plus, looking at, modern bards, they kind of invite the wrong kind of player to the table as well.
Well,
Ivy did not do the bard
freaking
freaking justice.
But that's an internet trope, right? Like that's
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the reality of an actual game or anything.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of, it's.
I've played bards for the better part of a lot of years, and I've never ever.
Yeah, but
I've never seen that in a game I've played with. You know what I mean? So it's
you're not a modern player.
Well, it's a trope that started on the internet, and then a bunch of people who the people who want to jump around to McDonald's yelling "I'm Pickle Rick." That's those people. They want to just be the trope because they think that's the secret of comedy, is to just be the thing they saw on TV. So I don't know, man.
I don't mind bards. They're just usually played poorly. Yeah, it invites poor play. In most cases, there's exceptions, sure, but in most cases, it invites poor play. Just my experience with it, seeing how it's done. Let's see. So, moving forward, the other thing that I was really encouraged with, yes, the rest of my player party, they're going to sit there and they're mourning. They will be mourning the death of their comrade, their first fallen in combat. So they're going to do various things in character, with the next session starting off. The player whose character died was immediately in Discord rolling up a new one, which I was like, all right, that's encouraging, right? That's really encouraging to see that,
Which player was it? Was it Coco or Shadow?
It was, no, it wasn't Shadow. It was, and not Coco. Oh my gosh. I'm drawing a blank.
Okay.
So let me get to it and I'll see. So why am I blah? It was Dominic. I don't know if you know Dominic.
Don't know Dominic.
Yeah. So it was Dominic. And so let me come back over to here and here, and let's see. Yeah, so it was Dominic's character. So like I said, I mean, he took it in stride, and he was like, "Oh, okay," and I was like, I mean, they could if they wanted to um, look to have a Raised Dead done on him because he's not
Their
that
first
far
level,
along.
right?
What's that?
Their first level?
Yeah, that first level. So it's like it's going to be too expensive. Number one, yeah, yeah, very, very expensive. And I think he's, now he might because they were already chatting after the session, and they were like, "Well, don't dwarves have like 15,000 cousins? It could always be another dwarf,
I'm another
instead of-
guy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
instead of Ovid, it could be it could be COVID. Who knows? It's like the
Oh,
Novid, Tovid,
oh.
all
I
kinds.
like COVID just for the fact that every time he kills somebody, he can go, he died of COVID.
So, but they were going on and everything, saying, "Hey, it could be a cousin, it could be whatever." And I was like, "Hey, whatever you want to do. You don't even have to play a rogue. You can bring in, another character up to
Bring
you."
in the bard.
No, well, actually, bards in Castles and Crusades are actually done pretty well. In comparison to other places, bards actually do have a very good role, or just a much better interpretation of them in Castles and Crusades. There are some character classes that Castles and Crusades does very, very well. I love their Arcane Thief because their Arcane Thief is literally someone who steals magic or magic essence from others, and it makes them a pariah with wizards academies and things like that. It's like, yeah, there's no Arcane Thief walking in Strixhaven, based on the way the character class is structured in Castles and Crusades. But there's, so that's a great class. I like the fact that that the Elf Magi again is like a throwback to Elfis class. So it is basically a fighter magic user, but only elves can be them, and they the only way they can wear armor is if it's elven made armor, which is something astronomically expensive. So that won't be something that they have to either earn or purchase from a craftsman, a master craftsman, to make it. So yes, very, very expensive, but eventually they can get it. And then they wear armor while casting. But what was it? Oh, the warrior priest. The warrior priest I was going to bring up. They worship a pantheon, and so they kind of have to appease all of the different temples within that pantheon. And so that just opens up the door for a lot of interaction for them that I really do like.
Fair enough.
So, yes, death in the first combat will definitely set the tone. It's a like I said. First of all, it was the result of a critical hit. Secondly, I think that they realize now that they were somewhat unprepared for delving into the sewers of Greyhawk City, and it must have just slipped their mind that some of the rumors that they were told was that Greyhawk City, in the lower quarters of the city, they were in the slum quarter of the city, that there are were creatures that will inhabit the dark alleyways and the sewer systems and whatnot. So they would have done much, much better if they weren't just dealing out half damage.
Fair.
Yeah. But now when they go back, I want them to realize now, I'll kind of tip them off now that It's not like that sewer system and whatever, whomever those were rats were serving, whether it's their own pack or whatever, they're going to be aware that people went there and killed four of their were rats. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like um, the place, if they do return, is going to be unawares that, hey, somebody came in here and killed four of our people. So yes, the world will continue moving forward with their first failed attempt, at delving into it.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Ugh, one of my monitors has started doing this thing where it just randomly shuts off and dies. It's about, it's 5-6 years old. Dell piece of garbage. So I bought a new monitor coming today to replace
Yeah,
it.
were rats are, again, they're not like invincible to regular weapons like you have in D&D. So they are something that you can face. And again, with a large party against a 3 hit die plus creature, it shouldn't be that monumentally disastrous. Plus, I mean, some of the players were just rolling horribly. I think the warrior priest rolled like 5 fumbles during the course of the combat. So it was like, damn. It's like, yeah, they were rolling horribly. I think they only had a couple crits on their own. The whole fight only lasted about, I think, 8 rounds between the 2 segments of it. Only about 8 rounds of combat, maybe a tiny bit longer than that. And it took up about, because there's a lot of players, so that does take up more time in combat. So that whole combat probably took about an hour, maybe an hour, maybe a little bit less. They spent more time gathering information than they actually did in that combat.
Yeah.
But yeah, that combat took about 40 minutes or so. Like I said, it would have been much shorter if they went there with silver weapons.
Yeah, rats can really ruin your day.
Yeah, so yeah, looking forward. I mean, my next session is probably a Tuesday. I don't think I'll be recovered enough to sit in this chair and see,
Are you going to Gen Con?
No, I'm going to a hernia operation on Friday. So,
oh my God!
Yeah. So, which might be less tedious than going to Gen Con. That might be a better experience, right? No. So I'm going to see. I'm going to be in the hospital. Now they said probably just 2 full days after the surgery. So I could come home Sunday. Almost definitely Monday. So
hopefully it's a speedy recovery for you.
Yeah, they said mostly it's the first couple of days is just to make sure it doesn't get infected. They are opening me up from basically chest to navel.
Arse to appetite.
Say what?
Oh, my mother used to say arse to appetite.
Yeah. Yeah, I told him, I was like, I said to the surgeon, I was like, well, while you're in there, can you take out some of the fat that's pushing through? And they said, well, yeah, the fat that is pushing through the abdominal wall, that is going to be removed, but they're not doing like a liposuction or something like that. They were like, nah, you're going to have to lose that on your, I can't imagine that's the way it's going to go. It's like, I don't mind, now I've lost 55 pounds,
Nice.
in the last year, so it's, that's why I kind of noticed it was like, wow, it's a pretty good sized, hernia there. And so, especially I've been drinking a lot of green tea and stuff, and that gets rid of the visceral fat, that gets rid of the fat that's around your organs and everything. So that's what made it really start showing, because that's been burning the fat my around my navel area, and I was like, oh, all
Mhm.
right, this thing is really protruding. So anyway, um, yeah, and then they have to tighten up the muscles. They have to bring the muscles that run laterally down your down your sternum, and they said that's got to be brought in, and tightened up, sutured up, and everything, and put a mesh over that as well. I think I'm getting 3 meshes.
Wow.
So 3 layers of mesh, because it's a full abdominal wall, um, full abdominal wall restructuring. Because they said it breached like in 3 different spots, but none of it
Wow.
is what do they call it? None of it is constricted intestine.
Yeah.
It's all fat protrusion, and they're just going to push that, remove that section, push that in, make sure that the intestine is not, because I've had it for years. I've had the hernia for years, and they've always said if it's not giving you any discomfort, then just leave it alone. You
Yeah.
know, and then, when I was 270, I wasn't noticing it. I didn't even see it, and now at 213, I'm like, no, I see this shit now. It's like, maybe we'll do something about it.
Sure. No, at least you're getting it dealt with. That's
Oh yeah,
good news,
yeah, I'm
right?
getting it dealt with. This is my first, I don't think it's considered a major surgery, but it's the first time I'm going under the knife. Let's put it that way. So, hopefully it's not too bad.
Fair.
Yeah. The hospital supposedly has very good food. It's a good hospital. It's a well reputed surgeon as well.
Nice. Good
So
for you.
yeah. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Cool.
Hopefully it goes fine, and I'll be back in the seat again. I'm off from work until August 31st, and I already got work to agree, because on August 31st I would have to drive into Manhattan, which I wasn't looking forward to anyway. And
Sure.
so I was like, well, I might be laid off. And they were like, oh, we'll just give you phone calls and you could work from home. And I was like, awesome. So
They wanted to lay you off?
no. I had off until August 31st. When I
You
told
said
them,
instead of laying you off, they're going to give you phone calls. Is that what they said?
instead of making me go in, I don't know what I said actually, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I tell you right now, one of the things I will always give my country over your country
Yeah.
is like, try that shit here.
No,
I
no,
left for a
it's
valid medical reason, and you laid me off.
no,
Boom.
it's not my regular work hours. I don't
Oh,
typically start until the start of the school year, which is September 8th. This is
okay.
extra. This is extra time. So yeah, I'm glad that they didn't say, oh, we'll give the week to somebody else,
Yeah.
which they could have done. But they said, oh no, we'll let you stay home and you can just take telephone calls instead. So I was like, awesome.
Yeah, we have a system here where basically when you take medical leave, bereavement leave, there's a bunch of different leaves you can take. Basically, the government pays you 65% of your salary for up to 90 days.
Yeah, they have that
While you're
here too.
recovering.
Yeah, they have, it's called, medical disability, and you get paid something like 65%. It's something around that, 60-70%. You're on disability.
Okay.
And then
But that's state by state down there,
yeah.
right?
Well, I think ours falls, well, there's federal gives you up to 3 months. It's called a FEMLA leave, family emergency leave, family emergency, medical leave, family emergency medical leave.
Okay.
And the A is whatever. So assistance, yeah. So that's a total of probably, yeah. So that's a total of 3 months that you could do that, and you can extend that too. I know when I'm doing the pensions for people that are like cancer patients, and they were like, well, can I get an extension? I was like, yeah, you can put in for an extension, because unless you go into remission, and you're stage 3, 4, you really can't do the job in that kind of condition because of, whether it's the chemo or whatever, they're just not able to stay up on their feet for that much. I was like, no, you just extend it out there. And then a lot of times what we'll tell them to do is that if they have the time to retire, and they have the age to retire, it's like, just do your leave. You're using your sick days one for one, going through there. And then when your time is done, then the next day you just, you retire. And then you put in the waiver to have them waive the penalty for taking a medical leave and then not working a certain amount of time after the leave is over. And they almost always give that waiver, because it's like they look like assholes if they say, oh, you had stage 4 cancer and you didn't come back to work. You know what I'm saying? It's like they typically do not, they waive it. They waive the penalty.
But it almost feels like you shouldn't have to have that waiver.
I know you too, but technically, otherwise people would scam the system too, though.
People scam the system all the time.
I know, that's why I'm saying it's like those are the things that the New York City Board of Education only cares about money, and scamming the system is the one thing that they will come after you. It doesn't matter what position you hold. They have axed chancellors for stolen time. You know what I'm saying? It's like they have axed principals, superintendents. It doesn't matter. Teachers, paraprofessionals, which are like the lowliest individuals in the school building, the lowest, like barely above poverty level in salary. They steal time, boom, they will be gone. You know what I'm saying? It's like they just count those beans, and if you're stealing those beans, they don't care how many
are you really stealing those beans given the amount of our lives they steal from us?
Yes, they are stealing those beans
No,
sometimes.
they're not.
I had a principal who used to fly home to Atlanta from New York City every Friday morning and then return to work Monday afternoon. Mm-hmm. All right. Every single weekend. He was flying home, flying back, and not clocking out on Friday and not, signing in late on Monday. He was technically stealing an entire day's worth of time every single week. And superintendent caught wind of it, came in, asked on the Friday, Friday late morning, asked the secretary. I'm sitting in the room, sitting in the office as well. I'm the union rep for the teachers, secretaries, all them, and superintendent asked the secretary, where's the principal? And I just looked over to the secretary and I said, do not lie. And she says, he's probably on the plane flying home. She's like, yeah, I thought so. All right. She says, the work crews will be here changing the locks on his office. And when he comes in on Monday, if he comes in on Monday, tell him to come immediately to the district office. All right. And he was gone.
Yeah, I just disagree with the corporate mentality of stealing time, given the amount of bullshit they steal from us.
Oh yeah, of course, but it's still it's still the one thing I was defending a paraprofessional. It's like a teacher's aide, a teacher's assistant, who she was late 136 times.
Wow.
And absent 30. There's only 180 school days. So it was like 90% of the time or 80% of the time she was either late or absent. And I was like, I'm sitting there trying to defend her, and the principal was just like, listen, he says, the only reason why I can't fire you is because I didn't follow the process, and I didn't start giving you warnings way back when, because this was in May that she was sitting in front of him. But he was like, now you're on the clock. Now you're punching in and out. All right. And, 1 minute late, or one more absence. And then I'm going to move to have you, fired, and it was like, but you're going to be on the clock until you rectify. And the thing was, she literally walked to school. She lived 15 minutes away, 15-minute away walk.
Mm-hmm.
It was like no freaking excuse to be late all
Excuse
the
me.
time, you know. And I was like,
Can I help you?
it is what it is. Attendance is the one thing that you can turn a profession into a job real fast, and you can lose a job real fast.
I apologize. I have to deal with this.
No, that's fine.
Yes, you're very lovely. We all love
Yes.
you. People
We are animalless in my home now.
Oh, what happened?
Our dog died back in February of 2025.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. On my wife's birthday.
Uh,
Yeah. She was like, and it was really my wife's dog. So she was like, you know, we went to the animal hospital. She passed at 11:45, so 15 minutes before it wasn't my wife's birthday. And my wife's birthday was like, she even had to steal this from me. She said she took everything else from me, all of my affection, all of my time, all of my, worrying about, and she stole my session 3 recap. I've been able to find the intro session 0 video on this one. Yeah, so not much happened on the first session and the second session. Those were just the last 2 weeks, and I didn't do recaps on those necessarily. So we had a significant event in session 3 with their first combat, their first character death, and so that's why I was like, I'm going to do a session recap for this one. I will become a little bit more frequent with it when there is when there's big events. When there's so like when they finish an adventure, or quest, whatever you want to call it, adventure, quest. When they finish a task, then I'll do a recap of that task. When they a character death, I will do a recap and talk about the circumstances in which the character died, when they kill a big boss, or have a significant event take place in the world that they participated in. Then I'll do a recap. But the regular, hey, they're doing an investigation, or they're interacting with their NPCs that are their henchmen or whatever. If that's the session, I'm not going to do a recap on that. There's not much to talk about.
Sure.
Yeah, so only the big stuff. But anyway, unless people want to say, hey, how was that shopping spree they went on? How is their, requesting, specific crafted items? Going?
Well, when Coco and Shadow bounced out of my chat last night to come play with you, 2 or 3 people asked, "Oh, where's this streaming?" They wanted to watch it, and they're like, "No, it's not. It doesn't stream." It's like,
I don't stream the things, number one, because it's not everybody is. Not everybody is. Some people are camera shy.
Sure.
Although they could put their avatars up there, and I don't have a problem with that. I mean, Coco made all the avatars. Well, he didn't make the avatars. He made the frames that they're in. So, I mean, that's like pretty impressive stuff. Like if you look at the, where did I put it? Let me clear this out. Let me get rid of this. So hide this. So I'm going to bring you to here. So these are Coco's avatars. Let's see. There we go.
Yeah, he's using I think ChatGPT for those.
Yeah, for the frames.
Yeah. No, for the images.
The images we independently grabbed the images off of.
Okay.
Yeah, off of like Google. Just did Google images and everything. I use like DeviantArt. I use various things.
A few of those, at least a couple of those are AI for sure.
Oh yeah, they may be AI.
Yeah, they're nice. They're nice.
Yeah, but they're nice, and I like the.
I don't get. Sorry, I do not care. Use AI to your heart's
Oh
content.
yeah.
I understand how water works. I understand science.
Yeah, this is not being sold. It's not
I
being
don't care if it's
sold
being sold. Let
anywhere.
it be sold.
Yeah, it's like what I really like about these particular ones is that, there was a couple that was like, yeah, that's a little bit too cartoonish. They all have like a very similar tone to them. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was also looking for, because I'm somewhat of a serious person, when it comes to, my gaming and the way I like to, set up the world. If someone was coming in here with something that was pure anime, I'm like, no, 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 no. It's like, I don't want something that looks like it just came out of a Final Fantasy, with a, ridiculously sized sword and all kinds of stuff. I was like, no, that's not the tone and, that what I'm looking for. So I like the fact that all of the characters are kind of in a cityscape, number one. And number two, they are, the paladin is the lightest of all of them, just by happenstance, I guess.
Virtue, by pure virtue.
Virtue is just bleeding out, so that's a cool thing about it too. So I was like, no, I really like these.
You're using Roll20, eh?
I use Roll20, but not for mapping and everything. That's all theater of the mind. The battle map is just a whiteboard, and I just put their avatars there to keep track of their hit points and whatever. And then I just drop the figures for the monsters that they're currently fighting. Again, theater of the mind. Like in some cases, they were like, "Well, I'm going to go here," and I was like, "Well, no, the room doesn't allow for you to do that." And so I just mentally tighten MM, and I was like, "These are kind of the parameters that you're in," because Roll20 with the freaking maps is a bit of a pain in the ass. It's like, do I reveal the entire map to them, or do I mess around with the, very counterintuitive
dynamic
reveal,
lighting? Yeah.
The fog of war reveal. It was like, I wish they would have, a fog of war reveal that was hex shaped. So like when they're doing a hex crawl, I can just clear that hex out, and clear that off for them. Or if they had something other than just square or I can, there just has to be different clearing mechanisms for it. Their room lighting, forget it. Their room lighting, especially if you're importing a map, you have to trace the entire map.
Oh, I know.
To create the dynamic lighting effect with it. I was like, that's stupid. They don't have, because you can't do, I don't think they do the illumination from like a torch light. I don't think it works that way either. It doesn't just give you a disc that they go, and then once they move out of there, it doesn't leave the area that they went into revealed. So I was like, if I'm going to have them do theater of the mind anyway, then let them try to remember it. Hey, they can bust out a piece of graph paper and graph it, if they want on their own thing.
Very old school.
Yeah. Let's see who else is here. Hey, Dan, how's it going? I saw Dan jumped in there. Good to see you, Dan. Yep. And Swords and Stones is N. And hey, how's it going? So so this is a good morning crew. And Coco did a great job with putting these. I like the frames, so now he has to get rid of Ovid's and replace them, with the, and then I'll just drop his in there and change the graphic for the thing. Well, I did it for the thumbnail for YouTube. So the YouTube has him deceased and how he was deceased, critical hit by and where we're at. And so I will keep those, keep track of these and show over the course of the years. I'm looking for this thing to last. Yeah, Owlbear Rodeo has a decent fog of war. Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about going over to others. Let me switch views here. I was thinking about going to others, and other VTTs, and then I was like, you know what? I want to be a little bit more old school and just do theater of the mind for the mapping, and do that kind of thing. Yeah, again, it's not. It's just for their avatars. They're not anywhere other than in our own faces and on my thumbnails. For this, I don't even use avatar. I don't use AI for my regular avatar, my regular thumbnails. I always use the cover of the game system that I'm talking about, or me sitting there, like a screen capture of me sitting there or whatnot. I don't even know how to use those things. Like, I know a lot of people are doing their thumbnails using it, and they're cartoonizing themselves, like they're getting like characters of themselves in the thing, and I'm like, I don't even know how you do that. I don't even know what program it is. I'm just not going to do it.
Well, they're just using AI to do it.
Yeah, no, they're using AI to do it, and I'm not doing those other things. Like we used to make fun of like years past, where everybody had like the soy face, like
exactly. Look,
yeah.
I'm sharing an image with you. This
face.
This is my cartoon avatar for all my stuff. This is the avatar I use for all my for my radio show and stuff. There you go.
Yeah,
pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
All right. Keep it simple.
Yeah, no, that's
and now I put my cats in all the images I do now. It always has my two cats.
Oh yeah. That's something the OGGM used to do all the time too. He used to, Edmund, here's my cat, and I was like, yeah, cats will get you views. People love to see animals. It's like, if you just kept your cat on your shoulder the whole time, you'd have 10,000 followers and all the attention on your cat.
So I don't want to trigger off an AI debate war based on what's happening in the chat, but it's real simple. There's very good AI art that you wouldn't even know is AI art because the person knows what they're doing and they're doing a good job with it. And then there's the garbage. But guess what? There's really, really good human art out there that's fantastic. And then there's the 90% that is absolute fucking garbage. You know what I mean? Like, this is the problem. We act like humans are somehow like the most amazing thing by comparison. I've spent years dealing with artists. A human slop exists right hand in step with AI slop. You know what I mean? Neither is superior. Just one's more expensive. That's all.
Yeah, I only use AI for personal use. And literally, it's just for the avatars of characters. I don't use it anywhere else.
Nothing wrong with that.
Soy face, yeah, that's a throwback, right? The soy face. And it goes,
yeah, but that soy face thing, like, I just, it's so weird. Like, I still see some people holding on to that style.
Yeah.
Today in 2026, where they're like Jeremy Jams or whatever his name is, the guy who does movie reviews. He still uses the.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn, dude. Like,
it's because YouTube pushed that. YouTube pushed that, but your thumbnail should have you pointing to the object with an exaggerated face, and that's going to get you more clicks. It's like,
yeah.
And I was like, no, you're going to see, the most you'll see is my, non-soy face pointing to the object I'm talking about. And because
that's why I use
I don't know how to do my screen capture on a timer, so I have to click it at the same time that I'm trying to do it.
Oh wow!
I'm like, all right, because the only screen capture I use is freaking is the Apple G, so it's and that's how I do my screen capture. So I don't even I am not that technologically advanced. For somebody who has virtually grown up with computers from the mid 80s till now, I am still not that computer savvy.
Everything in this world is a skill, right?
Yeah.
And all skills, and as a teacher, and I know as a teacher, are rote, right? That's what skills are. You learn, you repeat, and then now it's a talent. It goes from a skill to a talent, right?
Dan, where's your cardboard sign?
You have a cardboard sign?
You must enter with the cardboard sign.
5th edition sucks ass. Play Hyperborea. I agree with everything except the top statement, so that's cool. No, I'm just I like the term they say fatigue. Everything this fatigue, that fatigue. I have anti 5e fatigue. It's like you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's actually at the core a very solid system. They ruined it with a lot of the stuff they added on to it with the expansions. And all
2014 was fine before.
But 2014 is a base system.
Yeah.
Good system.
No, 2014 is fine as long as you don't use what the hell was it? Tasha's.
Tasha's was 2018.
I think so.
Okay, so
It went to shit 2018 and beyond.
Xanathar's was first. Xanathar's is
Xanathar's is
okay.
middling. It's got some good. It got some stuff that was
good and bad.
But there's some bad in it.
Which one had Twilight Cleric?
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
But everything from Tasha's Beyond destroyed the game.
Yeah.
Made it non-D&D.
But I just hopped in here to say that as the voice of the people, I think we need a rich soy face thumbnail. I think that needs to exist.
So this was something I found online. It was basically someone took the PDFs that they released of the free rules, the basic stripped down 5e rules, and they turned it into a Lulu print on demand book.
That's actually kind of cool.
This is your best version of 5e, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's simple. It plays fast. It's not overwhelmed with magic-bearing subclasses and things like that. It's really good.
Yeah. Well, since it's not WotC, I would buy that actually, and just go with that.
There are some
because I won't give them a penny of my money.
There are some beautiful Lulu print-on-demand books you can get, especially for older stuff. Like there's a lot of Dark Sun that you can get on Lulu that I quite love. That I want to get once they have their Black Friday sale when everything's 30% off, because right now paying $90 for a color print of a 500-page book isn't really in the budget. But you know,
yep, I feel you on that, Dan. I for my stuff that I print now, people are like, "Are you going to do a print on demand?" I'm like, "Yes," and it will be through Amazon Kindle, where it costs me $7 print. I can charge you a reasonable $20, $25 for a big 250-page, 300-page book. And if you have Amazon Prime, which most people do,
ships free.
You're not going to play punitive shipping to Australia or Canada or the UK like Lulu and Drive-Thru do, where they just punish you on shipping. And you're going to have it in 2-3 days as opposed to a month. That's the thing.
That is nice. Yeah, I've ordered a few pods on Amazon. It's nice when it's like, oh, I ordered this on Monday and it's Thursday and it's here.
Yep.
So.
Plus, they look good. I mean, like, when
they do fine.
When they're actually done here. Not to, he's got my Valorous, which he loves to show up, but this is the latest one I'm working on, which is my my superhero 5e hack, and it came out beautiful, and I had it in 2 days. And this is
I like soft cover.
Yeah.
I like soft cover because once in a while, hardcover print on demand. It's hit or miss sometimes. You get the books with the insert page is a little bit off, like the first page is a little bit shifted. I have that with what is it? Baptism of Fire.
Mm-hmm.
The first page is like the insert page. I'll show you. This is how it came. Now I'm not complaining because it was given to me, but you can actually see it.
Yeah,
right there.
The cover's off too.
Yeah, the cover's off.
Yeah, the cover's way too close to the top.
Yeah, and it's like you can see where it's already separating there in the, in the edge and everything. It's just not a, not a great.
Drive-Thru's hardcovers just aren't as good as some of the other ones.
Well, they and Lulu use the same company, right, for all the stuff they do, and one of the things I've noticed,
just with their hardcovers, their soft covers are fine.
Here's what's going on. Think about this: the company that is doing their printing is called Lightning Press or whatever.
Lightning Source, yeah.
Lightning Source, yeah. They don't do a shit ton of business through Lulu and Drive-Thru like they do from publishers, right? Like they do way more. So they kind of always try and sneak that shit into the end of a run, and they don't care. They'll do a garbage job. Amazon, through the Kindle print program, whoever they're partnered with, understands this is millions and millions of dollars a year printing books for us in profit. So we better do a good fucking job, because every time a book comes back as a complaint to Amazon, I guarantee you they're going back to them with a tally at the end of the quarter going, here's all the returns we had to do. This is how much you owe us back.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And they're a big company. They can do that. Drive-through can't do that. Lulu can't do that. They just have to suck it up and take it on the chin, right? And that's the way it is.
I will say I've had a lot better luck with the Lulu hardcovers that I pick the linen wrap for, rather than just Though I've done about 6 or 7 of those, and not a single one has had a problem. Ring. Although my favorite thing to do on Lulu is print like adventures and shit coil bound, so I can like mark them up and note. Yeah, it's the best. And if you do like 5 or 6 at a time, they don't even get you that bad on shipping. So
yeah, just shipping is too much. I'm in Canada, so shipping just costs me a small fortune.
I shipped 2 books about 3 months ago to a buddy of mine in Ontario, and it was $70 through the United States Postal Service. It was insane.
Yeah.
So that was wild.
That's why when I do giveaways, it's like, I will anywhere in the continental United States, outside of that, I'm sorry, it's just not worth it to send it there. I guess even media mail is expensive to go to Canada, right?
They wouldn't let me send it via media.
There's no such thing as media mail to Canada. No, media mail's only within the States.
It's only within the States,
Yeah.
And we used to have something here.
I'll be in Canada in September of 2027. So
there will be no country by the time you come there. It's going to fall apart, sir. You'll be in the People's Republic of Ontario.
They'll move their wedding to Buffalo. Then it'll probably be a much better venue and better food.
So we used to have a thing in Canada where they still have it, but Canada Post used to have this thing was a box. And whatever you put in the box, you would ship for the flat rate for what fit in the box. Yeah. And then people did that. And they went, whoa, well, now we're going to charge by the weight of the box. And it's like, well, then you defeated the entire purpose of the box. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the best, without a doubt, postal service in the world I've ever dealt with is the Royal Mail from the UK. Literally, I could order the same product from England and the States on the same day. I'll pay half the shipping to get it to Canada from the UK, and I'll have it a week and a half later. America, I'll pay double the shipping cost of whatever it's going to cost me, and it's going to take 3 weeks, maybe 4 to get here. And you're right there. You're right fucking there. But they can cross an ocean faster. And I asked some of my British friends, I said, why is the Royal Mail so good? And they said, one of the principles of the UK civilization is a dependable, affordable postal service. Like all British people believe this must exist. So the government never fucks with it, or they try to fuck with it as little as possible for fear of, public backlash, It'd be like banning tea. People would lose their minds, So what are you going to do?
Whatever. We don't need that shit. We threw it in the Boston Harbor.
Yeah.
America. America. Yeah.
I only recently became a tea drinker, but for the most part, I'm a coffee drinker.
Same, brother. Although I do like tea.
Coffee.
I like coffee.
I like herbal teas. There's some good ones we get here in Canada. You guys have, of course, heard of Tim Hortons. They have an apple cinnamon tea that they only bring out around Christmas time. It's delightful. It's like drinking apple pie. It's just lovely. You know what I mean? It's so nice. And there's an orange tea I get sometimes on sale that's pretty good. But if I'm going to drink tea, like actual tea, I want a gunpowder black tea. That's what I want. Like if I'm drinking tea, it better be tea. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, starting tomorrow, they told me I can only drink black coffee, black tea. I was like, not green tea. They were like, no, black tea. And then, which we have a couple packs of black tea, but I'm like, The green tea that I drink is a blueberry flavored green tea.
Nice.
Bigelow's.
I don't like green tea.
Bigelow's. Cool. Yeah. No, I actually like it.
It's supposed to be good for you.
I think it's good syndrome. I think you drink it long enough, you just have to tell yourself
convince yourself it's good. This has to be good.
I'm drinking it so much, it must be delicious.
Yeah. But that's the only one that I could really I can drink, and I'm like, all right. But it does not, even though tea supposedly has caffeine in it, I still get caffeine headaches if all I drink is tea. I need to have a cup of coffee to get rid of the headache.
Really?
Rich, I think that's a qualifier of addiction.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
great party, man. Great party.
Yeah. I'm definitely addicted to caffeine. I don't have any other vices, so, but I am down to 2 cups of coffee a day, not 3 or 4.
Oh my God. Every now and then you say something, you sound so New York, and I just decided coffee. 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
It's so cute. That's okay. Every now and then I have my Canadian moment. I used to work customer service for like Apple and Microsoft, all these places. And I was doing an Office 365 call with an American.
Yeah.
And we were on the phone for like an hour and a half or something like that. And by the time we got to the end, I don't know what I don't like. I wasn't aware of what I said. And he goes, "Ah, I knew you were a Canadian." And I went, "What? What did I do?" He goes, "You said Zed." I was like, wow, it took you an hour and a half to get that one thing. Well done, brother.
What, during the whole conversation, did it say A?
No, I don't say A as a general. It's okay. So one of the things I love that makes it really, really happy for me is it's something I try and get through to you guys. We say A the way you say huh. So if you're ever trying to make fun of us or do a joke about how we say A, just think in your head how you say huh and put A there instead. Yeah. And it'll sound good. And a Canadian will go, "Oh yeah, totally what we sound like, eh?" Whereas the way you guys normally go, "Hi, hey, where you going? Hey, what's happening over there? Hey,"
which is funny because that's not the Canadian A, that's the Minnesotan A. That's how they say.
They stole it from us,
right? But they did it wrong.
They did it wrong.
Well, they were doing their Minnesota goodbye. They were just throwing an A in there too much. So A is a rejoinder for us. Like it's like, yeah, it's a pretty bad idea. Eh? Like it's like almost like a rhetorical, like I'm right at the end of a sentence. Mm-hmm. Buddy is another one we used to use a lot. We don't use it as much as we used to. We used to use buddy.
Buddy? Oh, yeah. Buddy is another one that, it's rare for, like, I don't have that much interaction with my, because all the Canadian cousins are on my wife's side, so, and we only get together now for weddings. So it's like, they flew in for my wife's cousin's wedding over here. And, it's just, we don't interact that much. So it'll be nice, though. It'll be nice to go see them and everything, because I do actually genuinely like them. They're good people, but it's just such a schlep to go out there. I think I'm driving. I think we're going to drive because it's just too much of a pain in the ass. If we do fly, though, we'll fly out of a smaller airport here in New York. Not going out of Kennedy. What a freaking disaster that is.
Well, on the bright side, at least you're going someplace where you like people. That's helpful.
I think those health benefits are from when they didn't understand how boiling the water for the violent bouts of diarrhea.
Oh, the British.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I do have to get ready for work. I just want to pop in and say hi.
All right. Well, it's good to see you, Dan. And so this Friday I will not be there. Next Friday I should be able to. Okay. I should be able to. I might be laying on my back in my bed with the thing over my.
That'll be the view. That'll be the view.
Yeah, that'll be the view. Yeah.
So.
Hey Dan, quick question: what do you do for a living?
I'm in consulting, management consulting.
Fascinating. Just as someone who did it for a lot of years, you really should have been in radio.
I should have been in radio. Why is that?
You have a great radio voice.
Oh, thanks. I thought it was because I had a face for
radio, voice for print. But you have a really smooth, easy listening voice, and you would be the kind of person doing like a news report or just an art. Good voice, man.
I have a great idea for a get rich quick scheme. I'm going to
if it involves radio, it ain't happening.
No, it's going to be audiobooks for all those trashy urban fantasy novels that my wife reads.
My God!
She gets gangbanged by 20
trashy romance.
Yeah. Morningwood Milking Farm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Morningwood Milking Farm. Yes, exactly. Beautiful. All right. Well, I'm going to hop off to work. Take it easy, boys.
You have a good one, Dan. Take care.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
All right. So. Yeah, Sword and Stone. Like once I get past this week and everything like that, I definitely want you to come on and talk about the game you're working on. And again, Bear, same thing.
Dude, your audience doesn't want to hear about my 5e super.
Oh, yes, they do. Yes,
no, they don't.
It's not about the game you're making. It's about you.
Yeah.
Your approach to it might I don't have as much of an issue with 5e as a game system.
Yeah.
Like pre Tasha's, like I said, it's just what Wizards of the Coast did to it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, I didn't like the gameplay of 5e the few times that I did play it in 2015, and by 2016, I was like, nah, this is just not the game, for me. But that was the full extent of my, it just didn't feel like D&D to me. It felt too much like, with the death saves and this, the short rests and even the long rests and everything. I was like, it played like a video game and it played like a superhero game. It was like, if I want to play,
I'm going to call absolute bullshit on that statement and leave it at that. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
No, they're super powerful at 5th level. They're super powerful.
It doesn't play like a superhero game. It plays like a up-leveled fantasy game.
All right. Well, you know what? Like that. That's what I mean by it. Not like a true superheroes game with. But they just.
That's why I'm doing a superhero game using 5e to show people what the fuck a superhero game actually looks like.
But that's my intent, though, and maybe it'll play very well. As
there are 3 fascinating fixes for 5e that you can use that are in the DMG. There's extending the rest period, so they have to take a week to do a long rest, which works perfectly. There's the what's it called? Something damage, which is if it's like, this like, oh shit, you just took a lot of damage. Guess what, fucker? You're just gonna walk that off. Something's gonna happen to you.
Oh, mass damage.
Massive damage. Yeah. And
then massive damage comes from 2nd edition. You have to
they brought that back in 5th edition in the DMG.
Yeah.
And they added in injuries. So you can actually give people effects for when they take huge amounts of damage. So there's all these ways to dial down the 5e crazy that people don't like. The one thing you can't do, and it pisses me off, is dial down the magic. It's so woven into everything. Because there's so many things that are woven into that game, and one of them is the level of magic, right? So you have to start making like arbitrary rulings against it. Like you're doing an old tournament module. You're saying, I'm banning all these spells. But Middle-earth Adventures in 5e, which was one of the first 5e hacks for Lord of the Rings they put out, is probably one of the best versions of 5e you'll ever look at as a fantasy game. And in the Lore Master's Guide, they give you the list of acceptable spells in your campaign if you're doing Middle-earth style play.
Yeah.
Done, baby. Done. Yeah, no multi-classing. Absolutely agree on that. Multi-classing is bullshit in D&D. Gritty realism rest, injuries and mass damage. It actually works really well as a game system. Like, really, really well. You can do a little bit of mudcore with that. You guys can agree as much.
So we're all getting
I'm not going to fight you.
We're all getting agree. Oh, who's joining us? Paul.
Hey, I thought Paul was on the road. Aren't you supposed to be on your way to Gen Con?
Apologies, my mic wasn't on. Or is it?
It's on
Might
now.
be the wrong one. Okay. Yeah, no, not yet. My brother arrives in a little over 2 hours, and then we're going to head out. So it's not too bad, only like a 3-hour drive. But yeah, the hell were we just talking about? Yeah, multi-classing. I forgot who I brought it up with. I was like, if you're multi-classing, why do you even have classes in the first place? It just doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Because you can't break the system. It's like designed to break. I'm going to take one level in this, so I have access to this, and then I'm going to take another level of this, and then take a third level of this, and so now I have 3 different classes, so that I can do all of these stackable, these stackable things there. I think there's one like class combination, or class race combination. It's like a kobold with its pack feature, and then it takes these other 2 things where every single thing that it does is rolled with advantage. Every attack, every saving throw, every damage, everything that it does.
Damage never had. You know about 5e?
Yeah.
Damage never has advantage or disadvantage. That is someone's house rule.
Pack tactics plus 2 other things make them like expand the maybe the number of dice they roll for damage.
You might get extra damage for being a pack, but there's no advantage or disadvantage on damage, which ultimately I think is probably a better idea than adding more dice on damage. Is just being like, well, critical hits have advantage on that instead. Like, roll your dice twice and take the best set. Something like that.
Well, that's why I kind of nuanced critical hits with you get a choice, right? You do max damage on your initial damage, and then you can knock the opponent down. You can roll a second die for damage, or you can what was the third one? I'm forgetting my own rule. You can. There was a third one where you could set it up where you can do another attack. You could do a secondary attack, which can explode, right? So if you do another critical, then you attack again, and so forth. So, three choices in that. I'm waiting for players to be like, hey, I'm going to knock, because if it's against a boss, and you're pretty sure a very powerful creature that they're fighting, that it might be better off knocking it prone. And then they all have the pluses, the bonuses to attacking it that next round would probably be tactically a better move to do than just doubling their current damage, to it, or getting a second attack on it as well. So I'm waiting for them to get a little bit more tactical with their abilities when they do get that, like they did with surprise, right? So I nuanced surprise, where it's like, you don't just get an attack before initiative. You can choose. We're going to go into a defensive position so that where all of our armor classes are better, or we're going to, do that attack before initiative, or we're going to just set up and gain tactical advantage in the next one. So we'll know who the boss is. We'll know, who we can attack with a +2 extra on it or whatever, instead of just that, other choice. So more choices involved with when they do have surprise or critical hits, or fumbles is a little bit more nuanced too, because my players were getting really tired of all of the true detriments to fumbling. That was like, all right, because they do fumble a lot. It was like, this is a party. Like I said, the warrior priest last night fumbled 5 times last night, like 3 in a row. It was like, damn, man, you're just rolling like shit. Maybe roll 20 was rolling like shit.
And that's why no matter how many times I bring it up, everybody always shits on, like, I always say, like, why don't you use a deck of cards instead? And they're just like, oh, well, it's like, well, once you pull that fumble out, you're not going to keep drawing 5 more fumbles, a 5% chance. And he did it in one night 5 times.
Yeah.
How many times did he roll? 400 some odd times? I doubt it.
No. He literally fumbled 5 times in like 8 to 10 combat rounds.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he literally fumbled like 5 times out of 8 rolls.
And that's the problem is because then it becomes like a Zucker Brothers film. You're like, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
At that point, that's the opposite of the superhero game. You have the like Mr. Bean level of D&D.
Yeah, I really thought, I don't know if you were here earlier, but it was a fight against a total of 4 were-rats. 6 then 7 party members, all first level, mixed classes and everything, a good combination of it. And overall, the whole thing lasted about 8 to 10 rounds, let's say, 2 phases of it. And they were just rolling terribly. They occasionally they dealt really good damage, but it was always halved because none of them thought to bring silver weapons, even though there were plenty of rumors and hints that in the sewers you might encounter were-rats, or rare were creatures in the lower, slum section that they were in as well. But that set aside, I think it was great because it really did set in their first combat. A player character died. They learned that, hey, shit, we should listen to those rumors, and a large party is going to put us into encounters that are going to match that large party size. They're not going to be walks in the park, all the time. And really, I was quite surprised at how badly they rolled. So a lot just came down to just, beginners on luck, their first combat.
Yeah.
It was a great, I think it was a great learning experience, and it was great to see. It was great to see how it turned out, because it almost became 2 character deaths. The paladin got dropped to 0 as well. So, and he has no constitution bonus, so he would have been dead at -1. So it was like, so that was. Yeah, I'm a little bit more extreme. I don't do the -10 thing. -10 and beyond, you can't even be resurrected. But a resurrection, I built that into this system as well, where it's like, no, if a cleric is casting a resurrection spell, guess what? He has to make a saving throw versus dying in order to do it. So you better be more important to him than he is, in order to cast that spell on you. So it sounds like something I would do. My boring little system is classless.
He brought up last time.
I like classless systems. You know what I'm saying? It's like I do like. I played Conan GURPS back in the day. I really enjoyed it. Most of the my favorite MMO of all time was Eve. Eve Online was a classless system. You had skills all over the place in a variety of different areas and everything like that. Your ship type that you were going to focus on actually tied into certain skills that you would want for them. Like some boats were laser boats, some were missile boats, some were rocket boats or whatever. And you were going to train those specific things because those are what those ships were built upon. Was those types of weapon systems. But for the most part, you can train in anything you wanted to train in, from mining to exploration to combat to whatever. And I really do like that thing. I think Conan Exiles doesn't have a class system built into it, and that's a lot of fun to play as well. And you basically you do the things. The more you do certain things, the better you get at it. I think some game systems would benefit from a classless system, like if you have any generic, and Bear, you can jump in on this. I'm sure you will. If you have a generic game system, whether it's GURPS or some of the others, the hero system is generic also, right? It's Amazing Adventures should not be a class system, a class-based system. That's Trollord Games. I don't know why they went with a class system for something like that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a skill-based system.
I thought it used those the Palladium things. What are those called? The OOCs or whatever.
And RCCs.
Yeah, but you can cross into different areas. Even Call of Cthulhu allows you to cross into different areas of study. It just costs you more to do it.
Right.
I'm not a fan of
Star Frontiers with Zebulons allowed you to cross over into other PSAs without I just had a higher expense, a higher experience point expenditure to gain those skills, but you could cross over.
That's fair.
So I think that if you're promoting a game system as a generic system or a universal system, then it should have actually generic is the right word. Universal is different. Universal is the same dice mechanic across the board, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Bear?
Usually.
Sorry, universal is what?
Same dice mechanic used across the board.
Universal.
Like WEG D6 uses D6 across the board for everything.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so usually when you're saying a universal game mechanic, you're talking about the same die across the board.
Yeah, if you reduced everything in D&D to a D20, like everything, including damage, for example.
Yeah.
It's everything. That would be a universal mechanic.
Right. I think only D6 systems do that, right?
There's some D8, there's some D12.
I think if I were to design something from the ground up, I'd probably start with you. It almost starts not like a funnel, but you start at like that 0 level where you don't know what your character is. You only know like physical description, stuff like that. You have some stats, but your stats will actually increase over the first couple of levels because it's like you don't know how precisely good you are until you start playing. And then when you kind of get a hold of the character, you get a feel of who they're becoming. Then you start locking things in and it kind of branches out that way instead of leveling up being like, well, check the spreadsheet, go down one column or one row and just insert those numbers and there's your level. It's like, that's not interesting at all. You should have kind of this branching growth of the character. And you start, kind of with this nebulous idea of them, and then it gets a little bit more fixed as you settle in with the campaign and the other players, like a house. Once it's built, it settles. Settles into what it is, and then slowly loses value.
You see that comment there, Bear?
Sorry, I'm fixing my computer, but yes, let me take a look. Hang on. If I were in Ontario, I'd seek you out to teach me 5e properly. I'm the wrong guy, and I'm not in Ontario, so you'd be wandering around the province I'm not in, looking for me and having no luck, brother.
Walking up to random Canadians, I'm looking for the bear.
Hey, in Ontario, that'll get you. Welcome to the Blue Oyster.
You're looking for some action there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been dealing with tech issues all morning. It seems like there's somebody in the European sector, probably in France, who's like, we're going to go on all this guy's social media and spam Mr. Beast nonsense to people.
You sent me that. I was like, I don't respond to any of those stupid things at all. It's like
I'm waiting for the new the replacement monitor to show up because this one's just blinky now. And my Photoshop update stopped halfway through the update and refused to continue, so I had to go uninstall all my Photoshop files, and now I'm reinstalling Photoshop. It's like, thanks, Photoshop. You're the best. You're in BC. Whereabouts, man? I used to live in I was in the Lower Mainland for 8 years, and I'm going back. I've had enough of living in the Franco-Islamic Haitian dystopia that I live in.
So he is in BC as well. So, all right, let's see. So, so we've gone from a session recap to talking about various game systems and everything. So, again, so Paul, what are you currently running right now?
I'm reading through Stonetop right now to run for my group. The current GM, I think he's got maybe one more adventure for Drawsteel that he's going to do for us before we swap over, because I'm doing the character building first. It's powered by the apocalypse, so we have to get everybody's characters locked in, and then we're going to do the bonds where it's like, how do you know each other, and that'll help me fill out the NPCs. It's got a nice starting point, though. I was running a Black Hack game that was very similar, where it's like they're in this frontier town in the middle of nowhere, and it was going to be magic was going to start reawakening in the world, and then they were these frontier rubes who were going to find it and be like, what the hell's happening? We need to go reach out to the capital. And it's like, oh shit, all over the world things are happening. Whereas this, it's very much like, you're in a village of like 300-400 people on the hilltop in the middle of nowhere, and they have like all these ruins they don't understand. So it's kind of interesting. One guy's already an antiquarian who delves into like the little magic items that are in there, which I like the way they do magic items too. You have to mess with them to kind of understand them better. That was something that was part of the primary rules of Earth Dawn that I always thought was awesome. Like, you could have a +5 sword and never know it was a +5 sword until you understand, okay, who was the previous owner? What's the legend of this weapon and stuff like that? You have to unlock it instead of just being, I am now 25% better because I've lifted this hunk of steel.
Hey, Dad and Son, how's it going?
A lot of Canadians coming out of the woodwork. They're insidious.
Well, we mostly share a time zone, so at least on the east,
sure, continent that'll do it. Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to see the morning crew. I've always tried to get games going in the morning.
D&D Dad and Son.
Thursdays and say again.
I said D&D Dad and Son says he's from Alberta, but he lives in the U.S. Thankfully, I'm like, I half agree with you.
Yeah. So, well, like to say, Alberta's probably going to become the 51st
It's
state.
not.
I know.
Stop.
That won't be allowed. The economic sectors are set. They can't be split. There's no.
Yeah.
There's
a lot more power against that than the power of the people.
So
then I want to hear Macho Man come back to life so you can do the power of the people. Yeah. Gonna take me to the top. The idea of that makes me happy.
Yeah. Going in, I got a Van Gogh painting. Gonna put some Campbell's tomato soup on it. That'll show them. Yeah.
Those idiots.
Glue your hand to the street. That'll teach them to use oil. Yeah.
Fucking nipple baby.
Yeah, that's the thing too. You look into all these and it's just like some bored millionaire. You're like, wonderful. That's who you need leading these things. Cuba would happen for you. Who knows what's going on anymore?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who cares? Let's not talk about politics.
Yes. Let's talk about gaming.
Talk about
not gaming politics. So
fan dancing.
Yeah, fan dancing. So anyway, so gaming is going very well. I'm really happy with I started up a BX on Thursday night, but this is a limited BX thing. We've only done 2 sessions. So third session will be tomorrow night, and we'll see if we get more than 4 players. Hopefully we get a 5th, and if we fill out the rest of the group. But I'm just going to run this until September. They're basically doing B2, running them through B2, and then probably shut it down and look at my work schedule. I'm going to find out my work schedule today, hopefully. They're having a meeting. I'm trying to extend my hours, and I'll shift from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Both Monday and Friday being my longer days from 11 to 6, and my Wednesday just being second time new city. Let me see if this is a cousin. Hold on. Hello? Nope. It's not the cousin. Yeah.
I was just waiting to
Hello, cousin. How are you? How are you,
hello,
cousin?
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Richard Broadworth. This is
financing thing, and I just hung up. Yeah.
Online pharmacy. We are here to see if you wish to purchase more.
No, my online pharmacy comes through all the time. We are shipping. They're like Amazon, because my insurance uses Amazon. What they call it, Prime Therapeutics for their pharmacy, and so they send me 90-day supplies like every 60 days. I was like, I don't need it every 60 days, for Christ's sakes. It's like I'm stockpiling on metformin right now. It's like, stop sending this shit, and I have another one, like a cholesterol, which I don't need to take anymore. My metformin, I really don't need to take anymore anyway. But the doctor was like, stay on that until after the surgery, and then we'll see. Because my A1C is down to like 5. And he was like, if you go anything below, it was like 8.7. Now it's like 5. And so he was like, if it goes any below that, you'll become hypoglycemic. And I was like, all right, so I'll just start eating ice cream and shit. It's like,
you look on the bright side of it and be like, I'll start downing candy bars like it's
I'll
nothing.
jump in between the two. I'd rather do that. It was like, I'll eat whatever the fuck I want, and and still take the metformin. I was like, I'm good to go.
Yeah. You're going to turn into Mac from It's Always Sunny. They had that one season where he tried to convince all the other actors. He's like, why don't we just get really fat and see what people think? And he was the only one to do it. But the whole thing was he would just carry around a bag of like chimichangas and eat them. And then he would just sit there giving himself insulin in the stomach like throughout the whole episode.
No, so it's yeah, it's a. I mean, I'm glad that I lost the weight over a year, so that was nice. It was nice and even pace, not like other things that I've done in the past where it's like, I was like, yeah, overall diabetes or pre-diabetes has actually done me quite good. It was like, put me on a few, moderately impactful medications that allowed me to lose 55 pounds. So I'm feeling better now. Once I get this hernia taken care of, I'll be like, yeah, I won't have this lump sticking out of me, and
you can go back to pumping iron.
Yeah, that's the next thing. I've noticed that my arms, I'm like, oh, I got to get some weights going because all this weight I've lost, it's like my arms look skinny. I was like, plus I'm almost 60, so it's like, I want to get some of my, I miss my military muscles. I miss the, that stuff because that is depleted over the years of doing, pencil pushing and everything. I'll never forget one time in my classroom, I had an 8th grade classroom, 8th grade students, and I was on the, our doors, our classroom doors were, they pulled out, so I was on the inside and I had two of my students were trying to come in, and they were playing around and everything. I was playing with them, but I just held the door closed and, I wasn't really like putting my foot up on the wall or anything like that. And they're both like pulling. I just held this freaking door closed, and wouldn't let them pull it open and everything. They couldn't believe it. They were like, oh, I can't. I was like, listen, I'm a man. You're like 2 14-year-olds. It's like, I'm able to do that. They were like, but it was just one hand. I was like, yeah, it was just one hand. That's all I need. No, I mean, I was 200 pounds, at the time too, but still, I was like, oh, I still have muscle. I had another time I was holding a pen cap in my hand and the kid was trying to get it back from me. And so he's there struggling, trying to get my grip open. And I was like, no, you're not going to get the
So based on what I used to do for a living, one of the first things I was ever taught by one of my trainers was, the fulcrum of the thumb when it comes to a grip, right? I watch police body cam videos a lot. Does no one teach your cops the thumb? Like, if you have someone's thumb, they cannot maintain a grip. It is impossible.
Yeah.
The human body can't do it. And I watch these cops on these cam videos fighting with people over stuff. And I'm like, grab the thumb, grab the thumb, grab the thumb. They don't. And I'm like, did they not teach them? So
no.
Like with the pen cap, you'd be like, give me that thumb. Now I got your pen.
Oh yeah, he was trying to pry.
Oh yeah, they try and
to pry the fingers, not the thumb. He never grabbed the thumb. He always trying to pry these fingers out of there.
People are dumb is the point of this.
That's why I miss those kids. So that was my best cycle of kids. You know how these pens, they have that little cap that's on the tip of it, like a little tiny rubber cap that is on the tip of this thing. Okay. On the tip of the pens, right? So the profile ball, the profile ball pens have that little thing on there. The one time, my one favorite student, I'm still in touch with him. He's like 31 years old now, so he's like trying to use the pen, so, and it's not writing. I was like, dude, there's a cap on it, So I pull that little cap off of it, right? And I show him. It's like a little nipple thing. I was like, hey, put that in your wallet. You can use that later. Immediately understood what I meant by it and everything. He was like laughing his ass off. And he was like, I just miss those days when I could bullshit with my students like that. You can't do that shit anymore, though. Can't. It's not worth the risk. You can't have you can't have a fun time with students anymore. I'm glad I got out. In 2022, that was my last year, and I was like, I'm done with this.
You're talking about the thumb thing in school. It reminds me, we actually got taught that, funnily enough, by J.J. Bittenbinder, if you know who he is. He was
I
a
know who he
Chicago cop
is.
with the big,
Yeah.
ridiculous mustache. He showed up and did an assembly thing for us because, he found the biggest guy, one of the gym teachers, this enormous, like, jacked guy who he had, like, this is in the 80s because I think, that was in... I think that was middle school, actually. Yeah, so it was like early 90s. And then, because we were like, who is this guy in the three-piece suit? He looks like Wyatt Earp over here with this enormous mustache. And he was showing how, you pull away towards the thumb if they grab at your wrist, because it was about, it was like a stranger danger kidnapping thing, So we were like, if an older person grabs you by the wrist, you rotate out towards the thumb to get out.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember that guy, and then they made fun of him on Mr. Show with Bob and David because what's his name? Bob Odenkirk grew up in Chicago. And then, then they were talking about him on Red Letter Media, too.
Red Letter Media had one of his videos on. Yeah. But that whole thing was taught to us by one of our security instructors for when the cop grabs your wrist. We weren't taught for if a stranger grabs, it was like, cops love to grab wrists. This is how you pop out and make them get really annoyed. We were like, okay. And then I had to use it one time because a cop decided to grab my wrist and I popped out. And his face was like, what the fuck? And he was like so angry about it. It's like, don't fucking touch me. And in Canada, I can get away with that. Like in the States, don't fucking touch me. Where are my teeth? Like, fuck.
Paul, who's doing the keynote at
I have no idea. It's WotC. From what I heard, WotC rented out some other building. Yeah, they're pushing something big because there was another building kind of off campus that's there that they were just like, oh yeah, they rented out like 3 floors in it and they're doing all kinds of stuff over there, probably for all their interviews and stuff because it's just so full now. I'm part of one of the groups. Like I said, I'm glad we got rid of the anime guys. Now we got to get rid of cosplay, and that's a hard one because a lot of people love dressing up and carrying all their big, enormous props with them as they walk through the already bloated exhibitor hall. And it's like, guys, this is a trade show. We're here to buy stuff. Take that shit and go over there.
That's why I won't go to Gen Con. I want to go to a gaming convention to game. I want to play. Yeah. I want to run. I don't want to go and just shop. I don't mind having like small vendors kind of, along the periphery, like CNY has them around the outer portion, but all in the center is game tables, and it's like, or the outer hall is, you might have a couple vendors on the outer hall, but then I'm not there just to shop.
Yeah.
But
it's most, that's the thing is, since it's a mix and it has, it's enormous for board games, card games, and a little bit for miniatures games. It's good. Of course it's going to take up too much, space. If you're solely focused on RPGs like you are, the smaller cons are the way to go. And it's different for each place. Like, buddy, we go to Adepticon and, that one's like almost all miniatures, but the amount of disposable income there is crazy because we sometimes we see the same vendors throughout different shows, and they're like, we saw the guys that do snap ships, which is interesting. It's like the X-Wing game kind of, which worked off of the Wings of War system. So it had a lot of the, you would do hidden maneuvering and try to dogfight, but you built your own ships, almost like BattleTech. But they would show you like, okay, you pick the pieces and this is how you build your guy, and you'd build the ships. And it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. They said they did okay at Gen Con. They went to Adepticon with all the miniature gamers who have just money to burn, apparently. And the guy was like, we have nothing left. Like, everything's sold out. These guys are crazy. They were loving it. And it's like, that's good to know. So, but I mean, I go there too because it's like, I think it's the only con I'm going to be able to run into like Lamentations of the Flame Princess and buy books from them directly instead of shipping them over from Finland or whatever nonsense.
Because where are you coming from? What state?
I'm just coming from outside Chicago, so it's like it's only going to be 3 hour-ish drive, depending.
Oh, that's not bad.
So it's not bad at all. It's like a straight shot this way, then straight down the state of Indiana. Like you just take one road.
How far are you from Utica, New York?
That one's a hike for driving. That one next year, I think, especially if Victor's going to show up, because like I said, I've got an extra. I bought a pristine copy of that stupid Ghost Dog, the RPG that he loves. Because his pet rabbit, I think, ate the cover off of his. So I'm just gonna be like, there you go, here's a fresh one for you. But I think I'll take the train over there. I think it's 9 hours for CNY.
By
I'll
train
check it out.
or by car?
By train. By car, it's a little bit more.
Victor's going to CNY next year?
That's what he said.
Which Victor?
Victor Gorchev.
Gorchev.
Oh, Victor
Scrying Dutchman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that may be a reason for me to go
okay.
next year if I'm still in the East.
there you go. Yeah.
When is it? June? May? When?
Oh shit,
It's June.
Paul. We should
Yeah.
totally
Ben,
carpool.
if you, I mean,
to
Bear,
CNY
if you can come down
We could do
to
that.
CNY, that would be awesome.
Because I usually like driving better because like I said, I haven't flown a plane since 2000. So all the post 9/11 shit I would have to look up. Like, yeah, it's like I'm like a quarter century off on airplane travel. So
Yeah, I'm in Elgin. I can just come pick you up. We can drive to CNYCon. It's great.
yeah.
Besides,
do
this
that.
year I bought so much shit, I had to leave some of it in the hotel room, like clothes and
Oh
stuff,
my
because it wouldn't
God.
fit in my bag.
Yeah. That's the thing
And
too.
then
It seems
Dan
like
runs the hallway Saturday night whiskey fest.
Technically,
There
that
you
was
go.
edgelord. I was just there as the guest of honor, drinking all the whiskey.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Edgelord was saying he's like, I'm going to bring this. I'm bringing the wife. I'm bringing.
Yeah.
He was like really jazzed for it.
I'm
was a good time.
bringing a bottle too. I'm bringing a bottle of rum.
You and your rum.
Yeah.
Oh, and if I drive, I can bring my good shit too.
There you go.
I-
Yeah,
I've
that's right. Yeah, you can't ship it over the plane. They'll be like, why do you have this?
Yeah.
No, can't you just?
Are you
check
planning
in?
to take over our
No, you
airplane with your whiskey?
You can go. You check it in at the front like they do with their strollers.
Yeah,
and
you could put it in a checked bag, but then I'm trusting
no,
a
not in a
250.
checked bag.
Oh.
You can bring it. Like I know, like when we came in from the Bahamas, you can put in all the duty free stuff, and they take it at the front of the plane as you're going in, and they hold it there. And then when you come off, you can't put it in the overhead.
You got it. No, you got it in the duty free store after you'd already been through security. You cannot take it through a TSA checkpoint because you can only have liquid in 3.2 ounce containers because TSA is gay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so look, that's what I'm saying. Like you check it in at the,
Checks out, no notes.
at the TSA.
Yeah, I've tried. They wouldn't let me. So
Yeah.
but, I mean, Utica's only like 12 hours. That's not that bad if you're hanging with the boys. Like,
Yeah, no, if you
that's way less P stops than if I brought my wife.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's true.
I'm not arguing. I'm just wow.
So,
Yeah, and it'd be nice not to drive for once because that was the thing that killed the trips for Origins. Columbus is pretty much you go to Gen Con, so you go to Indianapolis and then you head straight east to Columbus, and it was like a 7-hour drive, and it's Jesus.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. So
Yeah, Utica's about a 5-hour drive from me.
come
Oh,
down.
that's doable.
Well, I don't drive, so I have to find someone who wants to go with me and I drive. Or
what Max Bovain is
12-hour train trip. I would not want to cross the border with Max Boivin. Thank you very much. I would find out in some way that he is wanted for something somehow. No. How was the trip to the CNY con? I spent it in a U.S. Customs holding cell, and I'm not allowed in America ever again.
Yeah, I had to answer a lot of questions of how I knew Max, and then he admitted to me that he was a member of some kind of French resistance movement.
French resistance.
Some weird pro-French.
It's a 5.5-hour drive for Ducato. So
Just Ducato.
he's in Maine. So.
Yeah, Ducato
Yeah,
drive
he's
like
in
he
Maine.
goes far. Like well, he's coming from Maine.
Why do you guys all hate Maine so much? I would love to live in Maine.
I don't hate Maine.
I don't hate Maine.
Every time I go, you two maybe not, but like, he did it, and I hear a lot of people Paul did it, and a lot of people you go Maine, they go, ugh, Maine. Like it's like Maine's
It's not
like
that
some-
people.
Hey,
It's
Maine
not that
is
people
same.
hate it. It's that people forget that it exists.
It's just hard to travel in and out. It's one of those a rustic place. I was gonna say they got I like Allagash, great beer out of Maine, small brewery.
Baja's pretty fun.
I like Maine because it reminds me of the Maritimes here in Canada. It's a very similar culture, right? So it's just like, yeah, it's nice Eastern Seaboard fishing people.
Yeah,
And then you go to the interior and it's all like fucking, hey, hillbilly and bread fucks with your weird, Victorian wilderness magic.
I would drive 5.5 hours to go to a convention.
Yeah, me too.
I would.
6 to 7 is about my limit for what I want to do in a single day.
Yeah, it's I would do 5.5 because I would leave at like 4 o'clock in the morning and still get there at 10. As long as I can check right into the hotel and do that kind of a thing. But then I would cut it short on the tail end. Like I would leave the day 2. I would leave around midday to get home at a reasonable time.
Yeah.
So that's
one of the reasons why I said we're probably off for Sunday, Bear, because leaving Gen Con 2, everybody at once is just packs, because the highway that runs straight up and down Indiana is like 2 lanes each way.
Yeah, and I-65 is always under construction.
Yeah, there's always something happening. You're like, what? All right.
I wish more people forgot about it. Yeah.
It is an easy drive from Chicago, though.
Yeah, you hop on the Skyway and you just go around, and that's it.
Yeah. No. Anyway, Ducato, you have my envy living in Maine. It's one of the few places in the States I would like to live.
I'm thinking Wyoming. It's the lowest population density per square mile in the Union. That appeals to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole lot of nothing.
A whole lot of missile silos, though.
You could buy one of those and live in one of those. That's what I hear. I had a buddy who was saying that. He was like, yeah, decommissioned missile silo. And I was like, yeah, but you're in the middle of nowhere in a missile silo, dude.
Also, you're living in a known target of the Russians and the Chinese should war ever break out. Like, not only do you get nuked, your fucking house is the target. Like, what?
I might be on the plus side, to be honest.
Hey, in the 70s, I lived 3 miles away from Grumman. And it was like when we used to do the air raid drills, I was, understanding enough to know. It was like, Grumman's getting hit by a nuke. We're not going to be here. Me sitting under my school desk is not going to do a damn thing. I'll be like, I literally said, as what grade was I when we were saying that?
Rich, my wife is judging the shit out of me for being on a stream at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Say hi.
You need to go pee?
No, my wife, I think I've told you this before. So like anytime my wife gets annoyed at me for being online or playing games or whatever, she always ages me by at least 10 years. So she'll be like, you're 70 years old and you're playing games. I was like, I'm not 70 years old. She was like, you're still too old to be playing games.
What should I be doing? Sitting in the corner bitching about the economy? What would you like me to do, darling, that's more age appropriate? Telling those kids to get off our lawn?
My wife
watching the lawn with the binoculars.
My wife would rather have me sitting downstairs on my chair. My 2 daughters sit on their chairs. My wife sits in her chair. So all 4 of us are in the same room. We'll be there for 3-4 hours together.
And you're all on your phones, not talking to each other?
My wife will be watching a show. Like there's certain shows that like 2/3 of us don't pay, or 2/4 of us don't pay attention to. Half of us don't pay attention to it at all. Then there's some shows that we will watch like kind of together or whatever. Like my 2 kids like the Pop Jeopardy, so they'll watch that one, and we'll kind of all watch that together. But it's just to sit in the room. But like at that time, none of us are talking to each other really. We're just in the same room. And that's what she prefers. She prefers us to all be in the same room and, talking, not talking, whatever. But I was like, no, it's like on Tuesday nights is game night. I'm going upstairs, Thursday night is supposed to be game night. I'm going upstairs. Saturday night is game night. I'm going upstairs. So she hates when I do anything on the other 2 days. See, but now my wife is working right now, so she's working summer school. So
clearly, you need to get more daytime games going. You got to make some like European friends.
Well, that's why I'm doing these streams too. I'm doing these streams in the morning. I put an announcement, a post on my thing that every one of my like Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 11, I'm going to do a stream. Just a bullshit stream every Tuesday and Thursday. As long as my wife is not working, I'm good. I mean, no, as long as she's at work, I'm good.
I think a cat's been marking its territory outside. because I got the window open and I can smell cat piss, right? But it's only like every so often. And then I go around this room and I'm like, one of you pricks piss somewhere? And like, nope, it's all fine. So I'm like, it's got to be an outdoor sound coming in, but it's driving me fucking nuts. I'm like, will not abide a dirty cat. I can tell you that.
Can't you all play? No, I've tried to get my both of my daughters were huge Stranger Things fans. So I ran out and I bought the stupid Stranger Things starter box, gave it to them, said, hey, why don't we play this? This is the game they're playing, which was bullshit anyway. But this is the game that they're playing. And both my daughters were like, no, we don't give a crap about that. It was like, that's nerdy crap. We
don't care about the game.
My younger daughter was like, that's too much reading. I was like, you read all the time. I mean, both my girls are readers. I was like, you read all the time. They're like, no, we only watch Stranger Things because we like the boys. I was like, oh, okay. So couldn't get them. Forget my wife. My wife went and, my wife is not academic at all. Forget the fact that she teaches at she's in a school, but she's not academic at all.
I love the fact that your phone ringer is definitely set to max volume or is right next to your microphone.
I'm waiting for my job to call me. I'm waiting for my secretary to call me to tell me what my work hours are going to be in September. I'm so excited about it because I'm hoping they extend my hours. I'm like, yeah, we can make an extra $200 a week. I want the extended hours. That will really support my gaming.
Well, I hope it comes through for you.
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll be nice. Well, since I'm spending an extra $400 a month to pay off the central air that I had to replace.
Hey, same.
So I was like, hey, if I can get an extra $800 a month, it gives me extra $400 to play with.
Yeah, having to get new AC and furnace in June was not on my bingo card for this year. That kind of sucked.
No, I can't even do my roof. Yeah. I know they're like, oh, your house is 21 years old. You should have your roof done. I was like, no.
We did our roof in 2020, but luckily it was hail damage claim. So I'm still paying for it just via increased premiums for the next however long.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not changing insurance companies because they're like, oh no, we if you don't have your roof done, then you can't change. You can't pick up anybody else. Yeah. I was like, fine, I'm not doing the roof. I don't even know if the roof is a problem, but they'll just say it is because it's 21 years old. And
it's 21 years old. It might have 45-year shingles on there, so it might be fine.
Yeah,
the funds of home ownership, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
The home ownership. Once the house gets, houses are great for the first, 18 years or so. And then it's like a car, right?
And mine is 19 years
for like
old.
the first 3 years, and then they start falling apart.
My car is 6 years old. That's fine. Buy a Honda.
Yeah, Hondas back in the day, they all of my Hondas used to last me like 240,000 miles.
Aren't Toyotas like that?
Yeah,
Toyotas and Hondas are both good. Although I'll tell you,
some Toyotas had trouble though. Like the original was it the original Pathfinders? They used to have the universal joint issues. In the back, the drivetrain and all that shit used to screw up on those things.
Yeah. All I know is
your boxes.
One of my exes, she lived in New Mexico. Her father was a Marine. And he used to drive up into the mountains to cut wood and stuff like that, just because he was, old and wanted to do stuff. And he had like an F-150 or something. It's a big fucking truck, right? And she had a Tacoma. And he got stuck in the snow and had to call her tow truck. So she just drove up in the Tacoma, hooked it up, and pulled him out of the ditch. And he was like, "What the fuck?" And then he immediately bought himself a Tacoma. It's like, this is an amazing vehicle. It's like, sometimes big dick energy isn't the solution.
If I ever become president, I'm getting rid of the LBJ tariffs and
the pork tariff for Germany. That means you can't have cheap trucks.
Yep, that means I can't have a Toyota Hilux because I would love to buy like a $13,000 truck with absolutely no electronics in it that just works.
I'm telling you. I'd get my license if we could get boats.
I've thought about driving down to Mexico to buy one, just driving it across the border.
Are you allowed to import them?
I don't really give a shit. Everybody else from Mexico comes across here without worrying about the legality of it. So why can't I bring a truck in?
Fair. Very fair.
Free men don't ask permission.
Yeah.
Canadians ask permission and pay a permit.
Well,
You're gonna sound like a soft set.
do you have to pay a TV
I am a living
license
man.
like in the UK?
Tell him I am a living man. I don't have to.
I am not a number of a
yeah,
free man.
Yes, I am
So
a
was
living
it?
man. I am not even.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not using it to drive, officer. I'm traveling.
Yes,
There's
I'm
a
traveling.
So what were you saying, Dan? You asked me a
the
question.
conveyance.
Do you have to in Canada? Do you have to get a TV license like they do in the UK?
No, we don't have that stupidity like in England.
That's
Thank God.
good.
But when we used to get cell phones back before the 3G and all that, so when it was still a 1 watt FM transmitter, our contract was a contract with the Canadian Radio and Television, the CRTC, the Canadian Radio Television Communications Commission or whatever, because we were literally signing a broadcast license to be a radio station.
Yeah, if I had to get a license, well, actually, is it any different now? I mean, we pay for every freaking service that we get. I don't even think you can get free TV anymore.
Well, no, that's why they put in that digital broadcast thing, right? So you had to go buy a box to put on top of your TV, so you can't get free to air anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I could live without TV, to be honest with you.
These days, yeah.
I definitely could.
Gotta go. Later, boys.
Bye, Dan.
All right, have a good one, Dan. Yeah, I'm going to be wrapping this up too. We're pushing 2.5 hours, and it's 11:30, and my wife should be on her way home from summer school.
Don't get caught on the internet.
No. She wants to. We have to go out grocery shopping and pick up a few things beforehand. Are they moving? Are they traveling?
I got to finish packing up here. I'm doing last minute laundry.
Oh, why are they over there? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot which school she was at today. Yep, my daughter and my wife. It's nice. They're both working in the same school, so it's nice that they. Yep, they're on their way home. So I'm going to wrap this thing up. So, Bear, Paul, thanks for dropping in. Good to see you all. And
my pleasure.
Everyone else coming in the chat. Good to see you and all. And what is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, so I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow at like 9 to 11. And then Friday through at least Sunday, I'm going to be radio silent. You know, I doubt it. I'm not going to live stream from the hospital bed or anything like that. I'll touch bases probably Monday or Tuesday at the latest. But anyway, you all have a great one. Take it easy. Thanks everyone for stopping in.